You know what? I'm going to pray with you. And I'm going to stand and I'm going to help you through the process, because it must be a process before you get there. So my job as a mentor, as a father, as a pastor, as a brother, is to bring you and help you through the process. Because I know that God has something for you. I might not even know or even explain it, but I know it's from God. So I'm going to at least help you through the process of God. The process. I was gifted since I was a child. I was preaching the gospel even when I was as a teenager. When you have the parents that I have, when you have the grandparents that I have, it's in your blood. It's in there. They make you do it. You know, my dad used to put me in the front. He used to put me in the front with my guitar. I didn't know what I was playing, but he wanted me to play whatever I was doing with the guitar. So in the front, I was just playing something. Preparing me. The process. I was an imitator too of my dad. Imitator of my dad. When I was 3 and 4 years old, when my dad was in a session, laying on the floor, speaking in tongues, I would go. I'm the oldest of 3. We are 3 brothers. So I would go, and I would listen, go into his room, sneak out to his room, and then imitate what he was doing. So I would go into the floor, into my face, and put my face on the ground, just like he was doing. And I would look at him, and I would do the same thing. And because he was speaking in tongue, I can't even understand what he was saying. So I would just blah, 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 blah. Imitating my dad. It's all good. It's all good to imitate. Part of the process. To see people gone before you. And as you develop yourself into your own self, you know, you're going to be imitating some folks that God is putting in your heart, in your life. And that is good. And that's okay. Because you're being developed. And you will have your own self and you will have your own being. But, you know, sometimes you just have to imitate those that are before you to get you there. To break the fear, to break the ice, right? God is in the business of restoring dreams. They're going to push you through the process until you get there. Until you get there. Hear me. Until you get there, and you're going to get there. We are going to get there. Now, I want you to listen to me, because in the process, when I moved to the States, am I good in time, brother? In the process, there are some things that are going to happen. They are going to humble you. See, I mentioned before that the process is going to get me there. It's going to give me actually more revelation of what the dream is all about. I'm going to gain understanding as I'm walking through the process to get there. There is a lot that we don't know when we receive the dream and the vision. The process is going to allow you then to have understanding of what is that there for. So it's a place of humility where you are going to be humble to a place where you will understand that God has placed within you is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. And it's not just for me, but for many others. See, in the beginning, we might think it's all about us. But the process humbled me enough to know that it was not about me. It was always about him and about the others that were benefited by your dream. I say that again. There are people waiting right now for the manifestation of your dream, because it's meant to minister life to them. That is why we need to be willing to go through the process. I need to humble myself to the point that I understand that this is bigger than me, that this is bigger of what anything that I've ever thought about, and that is not just for me. Joseph understood that in the process. In prison, he was serving. In prison, he was using his gift to minister to others. In the beginning, there was a little pride clouding Joseph. The dream was from God. There's no denying that. But the understanding of the dream was not there yet. So he couldn't explain that to his brothers the way it should have been, because he didn't understand that it was not about him. But eventually it was about blessing his own brothers. Am I right? His brothers were going to be blessed by it, but because there is no understanding or revelation of the dream, everybody is freaking out. The process will teach me and will humble me and give me revelation of that God has called me to be. Now understand one thing, because in the process I was told by some people that because I was in the process, I needed to kill my dream just to see him resurrected later. Now, I want you to pay attention, because I'm going to share what the Lord shared with me. Because we are sometimes too religious, and we apply death, burial, and resurrection to everything. So I was told that I needed to kill my dream because God will resurrect her later. The Holy Spirit told me, don't you dare touching what you don't have the right to touch. The dreams that I place within you are mine, and not even you have the right to kill it. Just like that. It is God's dream, not yours. I die to myself. I kill my flesh, but I do not kill what belongs to God. Are you with me? This is very important, because we have many believers killing their own dreams. Killing their own dreams that God Himself placed on them. Because they're too religious. They think because they're in the process is meant to kill the dream. Let me tell you something, church. The process is not meant to kill the dream. It's meant to protect the dream. The process is meant to humble you and to kill everything around it in my flesh, in my attitudes, in my things that might hinder me when I get there. But it's not to kill the dream. God is not placing you into the process to kill the dream that He gave you. The dreams that He placed within you belong to Him. And not even you have the right to touch it. I will die to myself. I will kill myself every day. Paul did it. Because in the process, I'm going to find some stuff within me that needed to be removed. I needed some deliverance in some areas of my life that the process allowed that deliverance. But I never stopped dreaming. I never stopped dreaming. Even in the midst of the process, even in the midst of loneliness, even in the midst of rejection, it was the dream that kept me moving forward. It was the dream that kept me lifting my head up because I knew that it was from God. How can I touch or kill something that I'm not called to kill or touch? I know that Joseph felt the same way, because even in prison, because there is something about the process that is gonna, you need to interpret somebody else's dream first. See, you can't fulfill your own dream if you don't learn to fulfill somebody else's dream. See, God is going to place you in places so you can fulfill somebody else's dream first. And while you're doing that, your dream is being... While you're serving, while you are giving, while you are presenting yourself in sacrifice, your dream is being fulfilled by God because it belongs to Him, so He has control of it. Joseph knew this. So he learned how to interpret some dreams first from other people. In one point, he interpreted some dreams from some peoples in prison that worked with Pharaoh, and when they were released, I remember Joseph saying, "Remember me." Tell your neighbor, remember me. Remember me. When you go into that place, when you get into the high places, remember me, because I also have a dream. I also have some dreams that needs to be fulfilled. So remember me, because I haven't forgotten what is inside of me. I haven't forgotten. I might be in prison. I might be in jail. I might be in the pit. But I haven't forgotten what God has for me. So remember me when you get there. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to give my life. But remember me. It's okay to remember. It's okay to remember what God has for me. I told you in the beginning that God is in the business of restoring some dreams. And for too long, people, even in the church, have been struggling with this. They've been coming to church, they've been praising and worshiping, yet dreams are dead inside. Struggling. Let me tell you something. The Spirit that is upon you came to you so you can dream, have vision, and speak it into existence. Don't apologize for what God is giving you. Allow the process to do His thing, but don't apologize for the dream. Allow the process to work in you, but don't forget that God has something for you to accomplish. And it's time for you to start seeing yourself the way God sees you. I don't know your past. I don't know what you've been through. All I know is that if you are here, it's because you are part of a hidden treasure that has been purchased by Jesus Christ. And if you're a hidden treasure, there is much more from you that needs to come forth. And you are in a place that God has chosen for you to be, to unveil that potential, the dreams, the giftings, the power, everything that God is putting within you. God has placed you in a place of understanding, of process, for you to start seeing yourself the way God sees you. God is putting you in a place with men and women of God that can speak to your life and see beyond the structure. See beyond what you can see yourself, what people can see. Because that's what visionaries do. They see beyond. They see beyond more than just a field. They see more than just a structure. They see more than just a city. They see more than just a town. They see more than what people can see. They see potential within you. God have moved people around from these different places just to tell you how much you have inside of you. Just to tell you and bring forth that what God has placed within yourself, so it can be unveiled and you can move in the call of God for your life. That's the reason why you are where you are today. You're more than just a single mom. You're more than just a brother, a sister. You're more than just a young man. You're a lot more than that. Understand, God has much more inside of you. He placed it in there. It's time to be unveiled. It's time to move, to put that or bring that forth. For such a time in this, will you stand with me? And I'm finishing with this. because of where I came from. I used to see myself so small. So small. Even having the parents that I have, even having the grandparents that I have, for me, such a story, such a faith, such warriors of faith, so heroes for me. But there is a time that you're so used to tell their story. You're so used to contemplate and admire their story that you think that there is not a story for yourself. You're too small. For years, I found myself too small. To even have the purpose, to even have a dream, just like my father's. I got too comfortable living in the shadows of such amazing story. And I knew there was the God of my grandfather and the God of my father, but I did not know that it was my God too. The Bible says that He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The process taught me that He was my God too. That I have some things inside of me too. That I have some dreams and visions inside of me too. And even though I've been so thankful for the land that I have received by inheritance, I know that God has called me to get some lands for myself and to the children and for the children of my children. I remember cleaning the bathrooms of the church in Lincoln. Over and over again. Until it was spotless. Because I was taught that for God you give excellence. So when I was cleaning, I have people that would not allow me to step outside of the bathroom until you can smell good. I remember going in my knees and scratch every single tile by hand. Because in Lincoln, I was not the son of Pastor David or Apostle David Santana Sr. I was not the grandson of Pastor Santana. I was a servant. And I needed to know and understand that everything that I do is because of Him. everything that I serve, I'm doing it for Him. So I will watch my pastor's car every Friday. Until it was shining. My wife is a witness. That was my job. After 2 years of being in Lincoln, the Lord spoke to my pastor, and she said, you know, the Lord's been speaking to me, and He says that you need to be the administrator of the church. I knew it was God because I knew that it was a call upon myself, so I didn't wait any longer. So I quit my job that I had in Morton, and I started to be administrator of a church that was an English-speaking church. It was not even Spanish-speaking like myself. But after 3 months of being an administrator, things went wrong. And one day they told me, you know, David, you're not going to be the administrator anymore. You're going to clean bathrooms. You're going to clean the school. You're going to mow the yard. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was by myself. Everything that God has taught me or told me, everything is just went downhill. But in that time, while I was cleaning and mowing and serving, I learned a greater intimacy with the Lord. My wife is witness. There was a